Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about top 10 most powerful countries in the world. So before starting this video, like this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. It is not always easy to define the world's most strong nations, and it can be subjective. The most influential countries influence global economic trends, preoccupy policymakers, and have solid security and military capabilities. According to the 2021 Best Countries survey, the top 10 most influential countries are: Number 10. South Korea. South Korea is a developing nation with the Human Development Index ranking of 7th highest in Asia. By nominal GDP, it has the 10th largest economy in the world. Its residents have access to one of the world's fastest internet connections, and the world's most dense high-speed rail network. The nation is the 8th largest importer and 5th largest exporter in the world. South Korea was the world's 7th largest carbon emitter in 2017, and the 5th largest emitter per capita. South Korea has been known for its globally influential pop culture, especially in music, K-pop, TV dramas, and film, since the 21st century, a phenomenon known as the Korean Wave. It belongs to the Development Assistance Committee of the OECD, the G20, and the Paris Club. Number 9. Saudi Arabia. The kingdom spends 8% of its GDP on the military, second highest in the world after Oman, making it the world's third largest military spender behind the United States and China. From 2015 to 2019, it was the world's largest weapons importer, earning half of all U.S. arms exports to the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, according to the BICC, is the world's 28th most militarized country, and, after Israel, has the best military equipment in the region. Saudi Arabia is regarded as a regional as well as a middle force. Saudi Arabia's economy is the biggest in the Middle East and the world's 19th largest. Saudi Arabia also has one of the world's youngest populations, with about half of the country's 34.2 million people under the age of 25. Saudi Arabia is a founding member of the United Nations, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Arab League, and OPEC, in addition to being a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Number 8. Israel. Israel describes itself as a Jewish and democratic state, as well as the nation-state of the Jewish people, in its basic laws. With a parliamentary system, proportional representation, and universal suffrage, the country is a liberal democracy. The government is led by the Prime Minister, and the Knesset is the legislative body. Israel is a developing nation and an OECD member, with a population of about 9 million people as of 2019. It has the world's 31st largest economy in terms of nominal GDP, and is actually the most industrialized nation in dispute. Despite the fact that they have stolen Palestinians' land and causing a genocide to them these days, they have one of the world's best army with the help of which they have occupied the Palestinian land over the years. Number 7. Japan. Japan is the world's 11th most populous nation and one of the world's most heavily populated and urbanized. The country's landscape is mountainous for about 3/4 of the way, concentrating the country's 125.36 million people on small coastal plains. There are 47 administrative prefectures and 8 traditional regions in Japan. With over 37.4 million inhabitants, the Greater Tokyo area is the world's most populated metropolitan area. Japan is a major force that belongs to a number of international organizations, including the United Nations, since 1956, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, and the Group of Seven. Despite having given up the right to wage war, the nation retains the world's 4th most strong military, the Self-Defense Forces. Japan experienced unprecedented economic growth following World War II, rising to become the world's 2nd largest economy by 1990. The country's economy is the 3rd largest in nominal GDP, and the 4th largest in terms of purchasing power parity, PP, as of 2021. Japan has made important contributions to science and technology, as a pioneer in the automobile and electronics industries. Japan has the highest life expectancy in the world, despite population loss, and is ranked very high on the Human Development Index. Japan's culture, including its art, food, music, and popular culture, which includes influential animation and video game industries, is well known around the world. Number 6. France. France maintains its position as a global center of art, science, and philosophy, which it has held for centuries. It has the 5th highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world, and is the world's most popular tourist destination, with over 89 million international tourists in 2018. France is a developing nation with the 7th largest nominal GDP, and 9th largest PP economy in the world. It is ranked 4th in the world in terms of total household income. In international rankings of education, healthcare, life expectancy, and human growth, France ranks highly. It is also a major player in international relations, as one of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council and a nuclear weapons state. France is a founding member of the European Union and the Eurozone, as well as a member of the Group of Seven, NATO, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, the World Trade Organization, WTO, and La Francophonie. Number 5. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has the 5th largest nominal gross domestic product, GDP, and the 10th largest purchasing power parity economy in the world, PP. It has a high-income economy and ranks 13th in the world in terms of Human Development Index. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, the United Kingdom became the world's first industrialized nation, and the world's leading power. The United Kingdom is still one of the world's great powers, with significant economic, cultural, military, science, technical, and political clout. It is a nuclear weapons state with the 6th highest military spending in the world. Since its first session in 1946, it has been a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, the Commonwealth of Nations, the Council of Europe, the G7, the G20, NATO, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, Interpol, and the World Trade Organization are all members of the United Kingdom, WTO. From 1973 to 2020, it was a member of the European Union, EU, and its precursor, the European Economic Community, EEC. Number 4. Germany. Germany is a great power with a powerful economy. It is Europe's largest economy, the world's 4th largest economy by nominal GDP, and the world's 5th largest economy by PP. It is both the world's 3rd largest exporter and importer of products, as a global pioneer in many manufacturing, science, and technical sectors. As a developed nation with a high Human Development Index, it provides social security, and a universal healthcare system, as well as environmental safeguards and tuition-free higher education. Germany is a member of the United Nations, NATO, the G7, the G20, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. It is home to the 4th most UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The majority of Germans are Christians, either Roman Catholics, 29.9%, or Protestants, 29.8%, with Orthodox Christians accounting for 1.3% of the population. According to a 2017 Pew Research survey, Islam is Germany's 2nd most common religion, with 6.1% of the population. With nearly 5 million Muslims, Germany has Europe's 2nd largest Muslim population, which is projected to rise dramatically in the coming decades. Non-believers, who account for 34% of the population, are the largest single group. Because of the communist East German state's general policy of discouraging religious belief, the number of atheists and agnostics is much higher in Eastern Germany than in Western Germany. Number 3. China. The World Bank classifies China as an upper-middle income economy, and its rapid growth has lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty over the decades. About 10% of the country's population lives on $1 USD a day, compared to 64% just 35 years ago. China's population size has long been a contentious political problem. Following rapid population growth in the mid-20th century, the Chinese government implemented the controversial one-child policy to restrict population growth. The program, which offered cash incentives and better housing opportunities to couples who wanted to have only one child, was so effective that the birth rate of 1.4 children per woman dropped below the replacement rate of 2.1 children per woman. As a result, analysts are worried that China's low birth rate, combined with its aging population, would jeopardize the country's potential economic growth. Number 2. Russia. Due to its harsh climate, Russia is one of the world's most sparsely inhabited nations. The country's population density is only 8.4 people per square kilometer, 22 per square mile, but the population density is highest in the European region of the country, especially around St. Petersburg and Moscow. Russia is primarily a city-based country. According to census data, 74% of Russians live in urban areas, such as towns or suburbs. There are 10 other Russian cities with populations of over 1 million residents. Surprisingly, the population of Russia's cities has risen in the last 10 years, indicating that the country is becoming more urbanized, as people migrate from the countryside to cities in search of better jobs. Number 1, United States of America. With a GDP of $20.49 trillion and a $610 billion military budget, the United States has the world's largest economy. The United States spends more on security than the next 7 countries combined: China, Saudi Arabia, India, France, Russia, Germany, and the United Kingdom. The United States of America is the world's 3rd largest nation by population, after China, 1.39 billion, and India, 1.39 billion, 1.31 billion. California, with a population of 39.5 million, and Texas, with a population of 28.7 million, are the 2 most populated states, and New York City, with a population of 8.4 million, is the most populous city. California is the most populous state in the United States, with a population of just over 39.5 million people. California will be the 36th most populated nation on the planet, significantly larger than Iraq and Poland. Its economy will be the world's 8th largest, with a GDP approximately equal to that of Italy, a European country with 61 million citizens. While California is the largest state in the United States, it is not the largest state in the Americas. That honor belongs to Brazil's state of São Paulo, which has a population of over 45 million people. What do you think about this video? Which of the following top 10 most powerful countries in the world do you find most interesting? Do let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.